Coming to you weekly from Studio de los Muertos. An audio digest for every mark and stand across the land. You are listening to the Rap and Wrestling Connection.
Yeah, let's kick it off. This is episode 10
Perfect 10.
of the Rap and Wrestling Connection. I'm Josh Beach, y'all.
Rocky Ramon.
Coming to you for another hour of the week in rap music and the week in professional wrestling. Big week for pro wrestling because, well, Shane was GM last Monday and did a pretty good job. And then, did you watch anything from the week? Did you watch SmackDown or NXT?
Didn't watch SmackDown or NXT, but I did catch these last two Raws. I've been off schedule with my wrestling.
I struggled this week for some reason. It's finals.
It's finals weeks, yeah.
It's finals, guys.
Yeah. Not
Not that we expect anyone listening to this podcast to give a shit about what we got to do other than make this podcast, but we got shit to do, man. It's finals week. We're both students, and so we're working our dicks right off of our bodies. But regardless, Shane McMahon has also been working his dick off.
Yeah.
This is 2 weeks in a row where Shane was the GM of Raw, and last week's Raw was kind of okay.
Yeah.
This week's Raw, I thought, was fucking rad.
A lot of surprises.
The only thing bad about any of this post-Mania is just how much it negates that WrestleMania ever happened.
True. Wrestling isn't real.
Well, WrestleMania 32 isn't real.
Yeah, it isn't real.
Somebody said, I can't remember, how it got to me, but someone said that this year WrestleMania is like WrestleMania used to be the Super Bowl, and now it's the All-Star Game.
Yeah.
So it's like,
I saw that too.
Yeah, it's like ultimately like there aren't any stakes. There were no stakes at WrestleMania
Just
this
like
year.
appearances, one-offs.
Yeah, which, considering the year they had and how all their storylines that anyone gave a shit about were getting scrapped by injuries.
Yeah.
They used what they had, I guess. I mean, they could have... It's really disappointing how they haven't even mentioned Brock Lesnar and Dean Ambrose afterwards. Like, they really haven't mentioned it much at all.
I think it's like this era of wrestling where our memory is like really bad. These past 2 or 3 years have been like really bad about that. Not like kids continuing storylines.
Oh, so they just like keep dropping the ball in stories?
The social media area, like I think we're kind of getting out of the PG era, like the social era, like when like storylines don't continue at all. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, I mean, they drop the ball a lot, and they decide. It seems to me they can't decide when they want to keep kayfabe or not.
Yeah,
and that's like this is all. Like, we can examine this perfectly in the Lana, Dolph Ziggler, Rusev Summer storyline from last year.
That was bad.
It was a really bad storyline that they completely dropped unceremoniously. Which
TMZ fucked that up though.
In which case, I don't really mind that they dropped it, but it is a good example of them dropping a storyline. It's just it was a really bad storyline.
TMZ fucked that up.
TMZ fucked it up, I guess, but they were just reporting from Lana's Instagram. True. Lana put it on her own Instagram. But Lana doesn't deserve heat for that. People break kayfabe in social media all the time.
But
all the time.
It's about as if, are you protected or not? How higher up are you on the roster? Like Lana.
You mean protected backstage?
Yeah, like backstage protected.
John Cena can break kayfabe all he wants.
There's only a few people especially remember when Rock came on and he did that Saturday Night Live kind of appearance. Like Vince McMahon said, if it was anybody other than John Cena or Rock, he would have been pissed
that they did that.
Oh, Rock, yeah.
Was he not supposed to do that?
It was improv. I love that. The Rock does when he comes, Rock has the freedom will to do whatever the fuck he wants.
So he would have let Rock or John Cena do that, but not
anybody else. I'm assuming I'll probably say Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar doesn't talk a lot, so he just beat people ass and leave. So I don't know. I loved that bit. That was way better. That Saturday Night Live thing was way better than. I was waiting for him to say live from New York. I swear.
Well, I mean, it was so much better than what he did at WrestleMania.
Yeah, WrestleMania wasn't that. WrestleMania was kind of like in hindsight, WrestleMania was kind of bad.
I mean, I was really disappointed at the time. But I was also really worked up by, mainly TakeOver Dallas. I was like, if Mania is half as good as this.
You did say that a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
And it just didn't, it doesn't compare. It's two different types of shows, too. Like, one was a super hard, and then the other was, an old school fucking...
Rad-ass show.
Yeah, storylines paying off. And another thing is, I think someone pointed it out, and only one match on that NXT TakeOver card had ever happened before. I think. I don't know.
Has American Alpha...
Samoa Joe and
Finn's been twice.
Finn has fought before, right?
Yeah.
That was the second one?
Second one.
Okay.
They fought in London, remember?
American Alpha and Revival had not been in the ring together yet.
Really?
I don't think so. And Asuka and Bayley had not been in the ring together. And then, of course, the other two were debuts. Austin Aries and Nakamura. Do you see the anecdote about Nakamura meeting Vince?
Like he was the first person he saw him backstage.
After his debut?
He shook hands, he just smiled.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's pretty bad.
I smell money. You ever listen to the CM Punk episode of Mark Maron? Yeah, he was on there when he was still wrestling. Way back. And he talked about what happened during the pipe bomb. What happened afterwards. And it's a really awesome story. Hearing CM Punk tell it.
What'd he say? Summer.
Yeah, he did his thing. And they cut the mic. And then he went back to Gorilla.
Position? Yeah,
and everyone's there. Everyone's standing there. And when he walks in, they all just, scatter, turn and, walk away. And, it's all quiet and shit. And he's like, oh, fuck. And then he walks up to Vince. And Vince just looks at him and smiles and says, I smell money.
Really?
And, yeah.
It's so bad.
I know, dude. It's one of the
so
best
dope,
Vince stories. It's one of the best Vince stories.
Think about Vince. We always think of Vince as this negative thoughts when it comes to Vince. Being him being the boss. And
it's because we're conditioned to.
True. We can be in work. Yeah.
The show itself has told us that we should hate Vince McMahon and any authority figure, which is why Shane is a breath of fresh air. Because for once we can trust somebody, and they came out at the beginning of the show, and instead of doing a 20-minute promo, wasting our time telling us how they're better than us. He sets up a tournament, 2 number 1 contenders matches, and then steps the fuck out of the way.
It's like we're being worked, though, because it's not really Shane that's doing this.
Oh, no, of course. No, I know that I'm being worked by this. Well, somebody...
I love it, though.
At some, Squared Circle's been really, analyzing the shit out of it because it's a crazy shift in perspective all of a sudden.
True.
Suddenly, AJ Styles is the number 1 contender. Cesaro is the number 1 contender. There's a huge tag tournament sponsored by Bootios. But, yeah, in just a 2-episode span, it looks way more like NXT. And somebody speculate, some people speculate, and it sounds convincing to me, is that the meta gimmick is that Shane is the IWC. He's booking for us. You pointed that out.
Yeah.
But somebody was like, what if Vince is willing to change direction right now as long as he has someone to use as a scapegoat in case it doesn't work out?
True.
So he's using Shane as the avatar for us so that he can book for us, and if it doesn't work out, he can blame us.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That motherfucker. But it's going to work because, God damn it, Raw was awesome. It was such a good show.
Well, I was about to say something.
Even Dr. Phil was awesome.
Really?
Yeah.
He wasn't that. He was true. I actually forgot that we had a guest host though, because he wasn't really usually the guest host. The guest host cuts a guest host promo,
right?
And does some corny shit. But Dr. Phil, he wasn't even on TV that.
He had
much.
3 segments.
Yeah, and it wasn't. The one was funny with the Ric Flair. That was hilarious,
dude. Yeah, he treated Ric Flair like a bear. He was just up in his face. Woo! It worked.
I wonder if Dr. Phil's like a mark.
I mean, he was kayfabing pretty hard.
But
he's also a reality TV star.
True. So he knows how to work.
Yeah, he understands.
He's basically wrestling is basically like reality TV.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, it's the first form of reality.
Yeah.
TV. Yeah.
It's cool as fuck.
But he had a very short segment with Golden Truth. Very short. Where he walked in and they were cause I'm sorry, I know you hate this story, but I love it. It's so funny. Okay, so Truth promised Goldust that when they got to Los Angeles, he would get him an audition and they could get in the movies together because, Goldust is obsessed with the movies. This is like, I like that they're pulling back stuff from like the first version of Goldust now, But they get there and it turns out like, he's like, I thought you signed me up for an audition. You signed me up for the tag tournament. And he's like, no, dog, that is the audition. And then Dr. Phil comes in, and it's like, finally, like, I was ready. Because everybody expected, like, Dr. Phil's going to come in and set these guys straight and get them on the same page. Because he's a therapist, and he's, he brings people together. When he looks at Goldust, and he looks at R-Truth, and he's just like, no, fuck it. I can't help these guys. He just, like, just walks out. He doesn't say anything at all. It was so funny to me. Like, I got worked by Dr. Phil, man. I mean, that's how good that role was. We haven't even talked about the really awesome stuff either.
Yeah, we gotta get into that.
Let me pull up the results.
So Kevin Owens opened the show with Shane, right? Kevin Owens.
Yeah, Kevin Owens and Shane.
I was waiting for Kevin Owens. I want Kevin Owens to powerbomb Shane so bad. He would get automatic heel heat,
like real heel heat.
Yes,
not. I'm cool, but
like, I like when Kevin Owens is like obsessed. And he's crazy. Just comes in, doesn't say a word, and just
he's kind of shifted from super insane crazy lately to just like big baby. Have you noticed that he like says?
But he's always been like back and forth between those.
Well, like when he got thrown against the barricade a couple of weeks ago, he was like, "Ow!" He's hilarious.
Do you like Kevin Owens more like as a big baby or like more as a serious like crazy deranged like obsessed with titles?
I think there's room for both.
Yeah.
So yeah, they open with fucking Cesaro and Owens right at the top.
It wasn't like good as like the last few matches they had for the title and stuff, but the IC title. But it was good. It was a good match. They still have they have great chemistry.
They do, and Cesaro got his shit in, which is what I care about.
Yeah.
Right now, I mean, like right now, it may not have been the best match that the two of them have fought together, but it made Cesaro look super strong. He just beat the former Intercontinental Champion clean with it
was wild, like Kevin
with a
Owens
worked shoulder gimmick.
Yeah, I loved it. And it was a wild Kevin Owens. Remember, he was getting like when he had his first push, he was like Kevin Owens had like 2 or 3 clean wins over Cesaro. Remember that?
So now Cesaro's getting wins back
because like Kevin Owens, like he doesn't even really need the wins right now because
he can give someone else a rub right now,
and he's about to do some great stuff with Sammy. So
he's definitely more over than Cesaro.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
definitely.
But what do you think of the new entrance and the new vibe with Cesaro?
Cesaro, like the I told somebody that's like when you get a call from Bay. And she says she's home alone. And you just rip your clothes off. That's what that is. Like, I'm ready to come over.
Oh, I'm ready for Cesaro to come over. Come on, Cesaro. Bring your super Swedish ass. Dude, the rip-away suit is hilarious to me. And, like, the suit looks silly, but he only wears it for, like, 3 minutes.
Yeah.
And, like, they put the new, like, 007 gun barrel thing on the Titantron for him to walk out in front of. You notice that?
Yeah.
Yeah, so slick. And then the whole unbutton. Like, I love that he unbuttons the jacket.
Yeah.
And then the cuffs, like he's going to take his suit off.
Yeah.
And then he just rips it off.
Yeah.
And then later on in the night, he had a pretty good promo with Miz Maurice.
Yeah.
But, yeah, he won that, so he's #1 contender going into Payback, which is exciting. So after that, it was the beginning of the tag tournament? Did they announce it? What else happened after that?
I know it was like, they had the Budios thing.
It even says on WWE.com, like on the official looking bracket that doesn't have the cartoony background, like it's all drawn out, and then over in the corner it says sponsored by Budios.
Yeah.
There's claims that there's real demand. If there is real demand, that there will be a real cereal.
I don't know. I don't really see. Like I feel like
no one's gonna buy that for their kid.
No,
like,
I feel like it'd be like in like after 2 or 3 months, it'd be like the 99-cent discount store.
For real.
Yeah.
Come on, Nathan, eat your Budios.
Cesaro.
So I mean, this might be the time he can get over, man.
I think so. I mean, yeah, it's just the right time. With like injuries, like being at a high volume it is a lot of room for somebody else to get over. But, you know.
So, let's look at this tag tournament bracket, man. And like I said earlier, Shane comes in, he cuts like a tiny little promo.
Yeah.
Sets up a bunch of action.
Yeah.
And then stays out of the way.
Yeah.
Like, you see him giving the rub backstage a little bit, and he had some interaction with Kevin Owens where he kicked him out, which was awesome because he kicked him out and Kevin could not come back. Mm-hmm. Shane's got some real authority. Yeah, Cesaro and Kevin Owens. Okay, and then, they set up the number one contenders tag tournament, and then Lucha Dragons and Dudley Boys. Mm-hmm. Dude, what in the fuck are they doing with Lucha Dragons?
Lucha Dragon?
It's not like they're even getting buried. It's just like they just can't. They don't have anything to do with them.
Lucha is, I don't know. I think Lucha's like ran its course. I think it's time for like somebody like they have Sin Cara turn heel against Kalisto, and you set up a U.S. title match like that. I feel like that's what it's coming to. Like the more losses equal, the more frustration kayfabe wise.
It's tough to get behind Sin Cara.
So you might as well turn him heel.
He's well. I'm just saying it's hard to take him seriously as a legitimate performer anyway, because we know that there's no knowing who's behind that mask.
Yeah. They've
already changed the character at least twice, right?
Yeah.
Or changed the actor or whatever.
Yeah.
So like Sin Cara is just
he's basically, it reminds me like Suicide in TNA, and he's basically like, it's like passing of a torch to who wants to play him. You know?
Yeah, but that exposes the business for me.
I mean,
they've done it in Lucha Libre for years and years and years. But call him Sin Cara Jr. Do something. Like,
I don't know.
Acknowledge the fact that it's a different wrestler.
I thought it was gonna be like a darker gimmick change when he had the all black.
Oh yeah, I like that.
I thought it was teasing like him turning heel, because like when black, it oozes like heel, you know?
Yeah.
So if you have Sin Cara turn on Kalisto, you set up a title match like that. Say I've been jealous of you. I'm not gonna be like behind your be behind you for like all this time. I want to be the guy in the industry, you know, in the business. So like have him turn, have them keep on losing, have them turn heel. Then you set up a match for the USA title. Yeah, you got a match right there for the belt.
Yeah, very good point. And then Kalisto goes over Sin Cara, please, hopefully.
Yeah.
But man, we got to get that belt off of Kalisto and put it back on. You got to put it back on somebody that can recharge it, man. Like I was listening to Meltzer was on JR this week.
Really?
Yeah, and they were talking about how they had plans that they had to scrap, where Cena had the U.S. title and Bryan had the Intercontinental title. And it worked for the U.S. title, man. But see, like, the Intercontinental title is looking really desirable right now, more so than it has in the last few years.
Yeah.
Because of Kevin Owens, mainly.
Yeah.
Who did Kevin Owens get the belt off of? Ambrose? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, IC title?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, it's been held by Ambrose, Owens, Zack Ryder, which... that's more a rub for Zack Ryder than the belt.
Yeah.
And then it was stolen in fabulous heel fashion by Miz. A very rejuvenated Miz character. But,
so who you think? I think Apollo Crews can be a great USA.
We were talking about him last night, watching him in his match. He is gorgeous. He's like impossibly handsome.
Yeah. He does have a great look.
And not in like a ripped up scary dude way, but in like he is a very handsome man.
Yeah.
But
that kind of hurts him so speak too though.
I agree, because most of the time
smiling,
he just looks happy to be there.
So he's always gonna be like a default babyface.
Yeah.
And that sucks.
That's true. You can't really stack stakes on a gimmick if it has no if it's completely morally centered.
Yeah.
There are no stakes about whether it's going to there's no like moral quandary, you know.
Yeah.
If they can become a bad guy, then there's higher stakes.
Mm-hmm. This just sucks. Cause like think about you kind of box yourself in, and you're always gonna be like a default babyface. Like Zack Ryder's always gonna be a default babyface.
Yeah, I can't see anybody ever disliking Zack Ryder.
I don't know.
I mean, except for the suits, but like, how many fans? Do you know any fans that don't like Zack Ryder?
I don't know any fans at all. They don't like that, right? I mean,
dude, that was one of the best parts of WrestleMania.
I mean,
that and the women's match.
But that was like basically like a coming off like you come across like a good strand, and it's like one off, and you never find that strand again. That was exactly right it was.
Man, seeing on SmackDown last week, he lost his rematch to The Miz.
Yeah.
Thanks to Maurice. Miz is going to be pretty strong for a while, I think, because he's got a valet who is a super bitch.
She's so fucking hot.
I didn't know anything about her beforehand.
I'm in love with her.
Just because she's beautiful?
Yes.
She's such an asshole. I like that. I like the...
You being worked?
Oh, yeah. No. Yeah, I fully admit that. I realize that she's playing an asshole. But, okay, so after that first tag match, we had Wyatt's and Roman battling League of Nations together.
Yeah.
And then they teamed, like, Shane popped in. I like that he admitted that he was just doing this. I mean, of course, it's all work, but he was like, I like this. I'm going to be selfish. I'm going to make more of it. So you guys are going to be a tag team later.
So they're Bray and Roman?
Yeah. So he teams Bray and Roman up, which, whatever. We'll get to that later. Natalya and Charlotte had a championship match with a dusty finish.
That's a good run for Natalya, though.
Dude, she tapped her out.
Yeah.
We all saw it.
Natalya and Charlotte already have great chemistry anyway from like NXT days, so.
And then, Charlotte lobbed the ultimate grenade where she was like, this women's belt is proof that my family will always be better than your family. Which is... That's heat going back generations now, man. That's beautiful. I love the ancient storylines at play in the women's division.
I'd like to see... I think Natalya and Charlotte would make a great heel tag team duo, though.
That would be cool.
The Heart of Flair, some shit like that.
Dude, it's like an alternate reality though. Like if you took this back in time and showed people and like, check it out, this is Charlotte Flair and Natalya Hart. They would be like, what? Like it would look like an alternate reality.
Yeah.
Which I think is pretty cool. I'm ready for them to establish, the early history of the belt and, put a Flair on it and put a Hart on it.
Yeah.
And then they can, start looking at the future because we need to see Becky Lynch with that belt.
Sasha Banks.
We need to see Sasha Banks with that belt.
Damn, Sasha's so fine, man.
Dude, after she won the women's title, it was one of the best things I've ever seen. I don't know if I've mentioned it on this show or talked to you about it, but like when she won the NXT women's title, she gets it, she holds it, and it almost turns into one of those moments where she's gonna cry over the belt and get emotional. Yeah, and then she like snaps out of it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so badass.
She's so
I told you this was mine. Oh man, she's awesome. Okay, so Usos versus Social Outcasts. Usos win. End of story, right?
Yeah.
Nope.
Too sweet.
It's too sweet, dude. The Bullet Club has arrived. And they destroyed the Usos, which is fine with me.
Make fun of everybody.
I don't hate the Usos, but I don't like them.
They're there.
Yeah, I know. I mean, they could repackage and not be... But you can't turn them. Like, you can't turn them heel, and you can't turn them against one another.
What you should do is when Roman turns heel, have the Usos align with their cousin, and they will look badass.
Just turn them into, like, a Samoan Shield?
Yeah.
Yeah, but... See, I don't know. It seems so unbelievable that they would be heel, and you can't turn them against one another because you can't tell them apart. How can you have a rivalry?
That makes it even better though. They can do like twin magic and shit. And like
they never used twin magic with those guys. And remember, they used it with the Bellas all the time.
You can use it with them. You use it with Jay and Jimmy.
They legitimately look like one another, unlike the Bellas.
Yeah.
Like.
Well, Nikki, we know Nikki has bigger tits than
well, it's funny. I went back and watched some old Raws and saw Nikki before she got her implants. And her and Brie look a whole lot more alike. It's so weird how just like one surgery makes her look like a different person.
Nikki looks amazing, man.
I'm not the biggest fan of fake tits. I mean,
they're there.
It's still real to me, dude.
I love Nick. I love every Bella.
I'm ready for Nikki to come back, man.
Nikki grew on me, man. She got way better, man. Like that match she had with Charlotte was great.
Yeah, we've talked about that a lot. That match was awesome, and I miss her because of that.
The Alabama Slam should be her finisher.
Yes, not even necessarily on the apron, just anywhere.
Yeah.
Like she just looked good doing it.
Yeah.
The fact that she could do it on someone as tall as Charlotte, that was very dramatic looking. But yeah, so Anderson and Gallows just show up.
Question is like have you heard like Finn and Nakamura? They had like Finn had kind of like a signing off with NXT. You saw the video?
No, I didn't.
Where they was like saying thank you to the crowd. It makes it like Finn was coming up. So, question is like, does Finn take control of Bullet Club or AJ Styles? Because I could see either way. Cause like,
oh man, why can't we have a rivalry for the fate of the Bullet Club?
Oh no, I think it's too early though. Think so?
Yeah,
Shouldn't it be down the road?
Because people won't know anything about it. You're right. You're right. I mean, it would be a dramatic way to start, though. It'd be like, this is my Bullet Club, and then Finn Balor comes out and is like, no, this is my Bullet Club.
Like, Finn be like, no, it's really my Bullet Club.
No, this is really mine. And so AJ Styles and Finn Balor.
It kind of reminds me of like that Shawn Michaels and Triple H. Like, kind of when Triple H said Shawn Michaels dropped the ball, like in 98, and he got hurt.
You know, that's totally a mirror of the NWO storyline, too, where...
Kevin Nash.
Yeah, when Hollywood was filming, like, Trouble in Rumble in Paradise or whatever he was doing.
Yeah.
And they go on the mic, and I don't know if it's a shoot. It seemed, I mean, at the time, it was like one of those things where it's like, whoa. You know, I wasn't smart at the time, but it felt like way more powerful than, you know, a regular promo. But he, you know, it was during the segment of the show where they would inevitably take over the announce table, which I loved it when the NWO did that.
Yeah.
But he and Scott Hall and X-Pac were like forming up into a smaller clique. This was like the beginnings of the Wolfpack.
Yeah.
And he was like, you know, you're gone working on your movies, you're big shot in Hollywood, and you know, people are worried about when you're coming back, but I don't need you. And he's like, me and Scott Hall and Six. It's like the three of us will take on all of the WCW by ourselves.
That's so dope.
Yeah, it was badass, dude. It was one of we should find that and put it on the show sometime. It was really good. But yeah, after that, and they recapped that endlessly. The other, yeah, of course they recapped the Bullet Club coming out like 4 or 5 times.
This is the way you said it. Like they were coming instantly like.
They're still recapping it right now as we speak. They're recapping what happened. The other number one contenders match was AJ Styles, Sami Zayn.
Mm-hmm.
Sami wins. He's in the match as a triple threat.
That's crazy.
AJ wins. You know, it's just AJ. That was a good fucking match, dude.
It was, man.
On Raw, Sami Zayn and AJ Styles. Like, the roster looks like a completely different world right now. Like, a completely different...
The Shane effect.
Is it? I mean...
I think it is, bro.
It's just, I guess they needed a face for them shifting directions so drastically.
True. So what does, like, I thought, is the Authority still in power? I'm confused.
Yeah, they haven't had shit to say. I mean, probably because they lost at WrestleMania and they're just, like, laying low right now and licking their wounds. Kayfabe, you know?
Yeah.
But
Triple H is going to come back eventually.
Triple H is going to come back. I feel like he's probably going to get the belt. I feel like he's going to become champion again.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Well, why do you say that?
Because I think that Seth Rollins is going to come back and challenge him for the championship. And like a lot of people, I'm not the first person to fantasy book this by any means. But the idea is that Shane opposes the Authority. And then, like, they try to reassert themselves. And then Rollins comes back and beats Triple H for the championship. Or just beats him.
What about a Shane Triple H match?
Oh, that would be fucking awesome, for sure. But, the idea is that there's an unresolved storyline with Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
And Triple H. In that, like... as big a heel as Seth Rollins was, he was being manipulated by Triple H the entire time. So eventually he'll turn face and get Seth Rollins will turn face and get his comeuppance. A lot of people think that that's going to happen as soon as he comes back.
Yeah, Triple H and Seth are going to have unfinished.
Yeah, because he's going to get a massive baby pop on his return.
Of course, of course.
I have my own fantasy of what I want to happen when Seth Rollins comes back, and it has nothing to do with Triple H.
Yeah.
I want him to come back at a moment where, for whatever reason, Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns are like in a very desperate situation, and then Seth Rollins comes out and saves the day and bails them out, and then immediately hits them with chairs.
Yeah. Somebody was telling me
I can see it. It would be so amazing.
I saw this one it's basically like the roles reversed, like Triple H and Stephanie are in the ring, and he lines back with the authority.
Oh, yeah, and then he turns on the authority.
He hits Triple H with a chair, and Stephanie's in the role of Dean.
It's like, what the fuck?
That would be sick.
Yeah, it would.
I don't know.
Oh.
So, I'm confused about, authority is technically still in power, right?
I guess.
Oh, this is just, what? I don't know, man.
I mean, it's kind of confusing, but at the same time, Raw was so good that there was no point in questioning it.
It's true. You shouldn't question it.
No, it's like Shane's here. He's going to take care of it. I'm going to vote for him next week.
I don't know, man.
Eventually, we'll see.
Do you think Shane eventually, it's still a work? Do you think Shane's, really having any, creative
I don't know.
thoughts, input?
I mean, apparently he's always been very vocal. Either way, whether he had, official input or not, he was always very vocal. Back in the day, I don't know. That's what I've heard.
But he was actually
nobody knows anything.
He was actually official backstage though.
He was an official booker back then.
Yeah, he was he was a VP or some shit.
Well,
he was in the role that Triple H got.
Oh, okay. I mean, there's also some he got sued for antitrust stuff.
The You on Demand.
Yeah.
What is it? Is it video on demand?
Yeah, it was a video on demand cable service for China.
It's badass.
I mean, the way I see it is if they wanted to expand in China, they sent Shane to go and build the pipeline. They can just pump it right in.
He's still on he's still one of the top officials for it too. He's not CEO no more.
No, and that's why he's getting busted for insider trading to the tune of $18,000. I don't know. None of my business. Sorry, Shane. Not trying to get in your business, buddy. Yeah, I don't know about the authority, man. And also, I don't know. I don't miss him. I really liked Stephanie's entrance at WrestleMania. That was insane.
So with Triple H?
Let's talk podcasts for a second. Not ours, but other wrestling podcasts. I told you that Meltzer was on Jim Ross, and they talked about, WrestleMania weekend, booking, all the stuff that Jim Ross I love Jim Ross's podcast. I probably listen to it the most consistently besides Cheap Heat, which brings us to our next story. We recorded our episode last Monday night, our last episode, and then we find out either Tuesday or Wednesday, Shoemaker, the Masked Man, left Cheap Heat. That's kind of
he is Cheap Heat.
It's kind of a big deal. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what to expect now. They were talking about taking callers, bringing in guests. They said that Shoemaker would be around for guest appearances, but he's getting his own podcast and his own column.
With Bill Simmons.
And he's also hired as the art director for The Ringer. So he's
moving on up.
Yeah. Well, I listened to the last episode of the BS podcast. It had Chuck Klosterman and David Shoemaker on it, and it was the announcement that Shoemaker was working on The Ringer. And he said, I've been doing this the whole time. People didn't know that I had a day job as an art director. So this is his chance to put them together and make,
wrestling.
Yeah, make his professional life and his hobby professional life the same job.
Yeah.
I'm happy. I mean, it sounds cool.
I like Shoemaker, man. He's very, very intelligent.
He'll have a prominent spot on the Cheap Heat. I mean, on the Ringer roster.
I like it too because like Stack Guy Greg like role gets increased now. You know, and he's very smart. He's very bright. I like Stack Guy.
Oh yeah, he knows.
He knows his wrestling.
He definitely knows wrestling, and he's thoughtful about it. They gave him such a hard time on WrestleMania weekend. Like I would have marked out too, man. You
know what happened? Like
he was just marking out
for wrestlers.
Yeah. And they were like giving him shit for acting like a fan on press weekend.
See, Rosenberg does that shit all the time.
Rosenberg. Actually, I listened to an episode of Radio Lab about Rosenberg and his whole like. It was all that stuff surrounding Nikki and the Hot 97 Summer Jam shit.
Oh yeah.
It was because they were. It was an episode of Radio Lab where it was talking about hip hop and authenticity. And, from one perspective, you could argue that Rosenberg isn't authentic. But then from another perspective, you could argue that, Nicki Minaj's Starships is not authentic.
I forgot. That was a lot of controversy about that, too.
Yeah, because she, canceled a show because of what he said.
She was headline.
Shit.
It was on Summer Jam. And, Summer Jam's, the biggest, hip-hop festival.
That's pretty fucked up, man.
He's
got that connection, that rap and wrestling connection. Somebody on Squared Circle was like, you guys should talk to Rosenberg. No, it was on Hip Hop Heads. It's like, you guys should talk to Rosenberg. And I was like, I don't want to talk to Rosenberg.
I want to surpass Rosenberg.
Rosenberg is the heel, okay, in this battle. Mm-hmm. And we're,
Rosenberg's dope as fuck, but, it's about, we have to surpass. And, it's friendly competition,
Yeah, exactly.
It's like that hip hop and wrestling.
And we're hungry.
And we're hungry. We want the top. Like I told you, like the throne will get conquered now. And we're always in, especially with being RW Connection, we feel like our podcast is the best because we do it.
That's like when I was doing stand-up comedy or anytime I do anything creative, anytime I write a story, anytime I do anything, but specifically when I was doing stand-up, I was like, I think I'm funny. I wouldn't get on stage and tell jokes if I didn't think I was funny.
True.
And I know enough about this to know what funny is. And it's like, I've listened to so many podcasts. I know a good podcast because I've listened to so many and I have, opinions on that. Mm-hmm. People are like, this is pretty unique. It's a good sound. It's interesting. And yeah, I mean, just because we're not insiders, just because we're not rappers, just because we're not wrestlers, just because we, aren't celebrities, doesn't mean we don't know what we're talking about.
Yes, we do. We do know what we're talking about because these,
I don't know what I'm talking about.
I don't either. But I'm saying, both of these cultures have raised me and they made the person I am today,
So you're part of it and you want to contribute.
I want to get back to it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I understand.
Hip-hop culture has raised me. Stone Cold raised me. Jay-Z raised me.
Stone Cold raised this man. Watch out.
Tribe Called Chris raised me. Tabitha Kweli. These, rappers, some of my favorite rappers, some of my favorite wrestlers have raised me and made me to, who I am today. It's part of my childhood. And I'm always going to be a big kid about it,
Uh-huh.
Especially about hip-hop. I love hip-hop culture is my passion. Wrestling's my passion. Music's my passion, and I want to get back to it. I don't know.
And,
it's a dope way to get back to it.
We just see so much. Yeah, exactly. We see so much connection between the two and so many similarities that, other people don't make that connection the same way that we do, apparently. No. Because,
Josh, people don't think like us. I always tell you, they don't understand us anymore. So, what the fuck are these guys on? And when they do realize what we're doing, we're gonna surpass them.
You hear that? Do you hear that? Rocky's getting pretty arrogant over here, guys. I'm okay with it.
Kanye.
Yeah.
The Kanye's coming out of me.
Kanye made history this week.
Yeah. Look, the streams the first number one album
from
streams alone, right?
From mostly streaming. 70% of its tallied total. Oh, but something that a little detail that I noticed.
What?
That 30% in physical album sales, there's only one physical version of the album, and that's the direct download that he sold.
On Tidal, right?
through the Easy Season package.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
But he didn't give the downloads. He didn't distribute the direct downloads until this week, which means the sales count
next week
for this week.
Oh, so okay.
Or last week.
So like, is a good chance he probably be number one next week too?
Well, no, it's just like it's debatable whether or not he released those downloads that week so that he could collect on the chart position. Like it's like he waited until then to release all those free downloads all those direct download purchases so that the purchases would count toward the same week where he was doing all of his streaming on Spotify.
It's crazy.
I don't know if it was intentional, but it looks intentional, you know? But he's the first ever number one on Billboard.
He broke Rihanna's record too.
Mostly from streaming.
He broke Rihanna's record. Like that was
streaming record?
Mm-hmm. Like that was like 2 weeks. Like that record didn't last long, like 2 months.
Anti? Mm-hmm. I didn't know that it set records.
Yeah, for streaming.
Man. And let me see. I mean, yeah, Kanye is still just... Anyway. In the worlds of rap and wrestling, Enzo Amore has been dancing around on both sides. He was in LA last week. He and Cass were on 2 episodes of Steve Austin's show in 1 week. Steve Austin is
he loves those guys.
Straight up dick riding Enzo and Cass. Like some parts it's like, damn dude, like it's really weird to hear.
Stone Cold loves like people that like, he can tell he loves when people like when gimmicks are being authentic. And their gimmick is authentic. So, and Austin's gimmick is authentic. It looks real.
You can tell he responded to the gimmick for sure. Mm-hmm. And it's like, how much has he actually seen them wrestle?
He watches NXT a lot. Doesn't he? When I'm listening, he watches like NXT.
I guess he watched Takeover, but I don't know if he watches week to week. I mean, like,
why would you watch Takeover? Because a lot of people just watch Takeover.
I know. Which
there's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with it, but they're missing out on some real fun wrestling.
Yeah.
Like, minute for minute, NXT is the best hour of wrestling a week. If Raw were 2 hours, it would be the best show. Especially this Raw that we just had. As much as I enjoyed it, after an hour and a half, I was still fucking exhausted, dude.
Yeah. 3 hours is exhausting.
I mean, 3 hours of a bad show is like boring as fuck. 3 hours of an awesome show, you're going to burn out. So that, you know.
From 7 to 10. That's a lot.
I think that they've started restructuring the show differently so that they hit the top of the hour every hour. And I don't think the main event really means anything anymore. Main event of Raw? It's usually like 6-man tags or something.
It's crazy because like I never heard that. Like Shane, he's so old school. Did you notice in his promo he said like in the main event? We haven't heard that in a long time.
Oh, I did notice that, yeah. And it was awesome.
Because usually they just say it like on the night.
He also said the words locker room.
Yeah. See, and he brings kayfabe back and we missed that.
We all want to believe, man.
Yeah, we all want to believe. We want to be, wish, like you always say, you always want to believe, like you're being worked, like you want to believe it.
Yeah, I want to be worked.
Yeah.
I'm open to being completely tricked by these assholes. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Like wrestling should be like more like a magician.
So yeah, in addition to being on Austin's podcast twice in a week, Enzo spent the week in LA and hung out. There's pictures of him on Instagram a weekend. He said in the podcast he was hanging out with Kardashians.
Stay away from Kardashians, Enzo.
Specifically, Khloe and Kylie.
I'm cool. Yeah, he's smart. He's a smart man. Khloe.
No, yeah, but he said Kim wasn't around, which means, you know.
Kanye's going to beat his ass.
Man, I would love to see Enzo and Kanye. Those are two egos that are comparable.
I'd love to see Enzo with Kendall. That'd be dope.
Enzo was also, he was hanging out with Weeknd. Pictures of him on Instagram with Weeknd.
And Wale?
In the studio with Wale.
I think Enzo was like cutting some music.
I think that if any producer, rapper in Los Angeles would be willing to indulge that, it would definitely be Wale.
Yeah.
Wale and Rick Ross.
Yeah, true.
You know, there's talks of them starting a promotion.
They're just talking. You think? I mean, Wale. True. Why? I can see that happening.
It reminds me, man. Do you remember Def Jam Vendetta?
Yeah.
That game
was awesome.
Fucking ruled.
Yeah,
it was
awesome.
like rap kayfabe for sure. It had like a tier list. Like there were big guys and there were little guys. Yeah. But who was the boss of that?
It was like some Suge Knight guy. Remember that? It was like some big guy. He looked like Suge Knight. I think it was his name. Some shit.
That game was fucking badass.
Fight for New York was pretty good too. It had like more like mainstream, like T.I. and like big name, marquee names in there.
Really?
Because Def Jam, like they had like old like Keith Murray. I think it was like only like a few like it was like really like Def Jam loyalists and like kind of like lower, not so mainstream.
Mid card
rappers.
Mid card rappers.
Keith Murray is like a dope ass, like he's underground legend. He's dope as fuck. But yeah, I think Eric Sermon was on there too. Like on
I remember Eric Sermon on there. Well, was Ludacris on there?
The first one? I think he was on New York.
Okay,
we could look that up. Damn, we need to.
Oh, yeah, I know. That reminds me, man. I got stuck at work late last night. If I could have gotten home earlier, I was going to record a run-in. We were going to have a little run-in with our CEO, chairman of the board, owner of the Rap and Wrestling Connection, Miss JC Dangerously.
Hey, Jane.
Her voice is sorely missing from this podcast.
Yeah.
You know, not that I don't like talking to you. This is fun still, but I think that the podcast could definitely, use a third voice, and I did not mind, JC's voice.
When
other people have listened to it and been like, that lady has a sexy voice. And it's true. But, that's not why we want her on here. We want her on here so that she'll, hold us accountable for being stupid boys and, look shit up when we need help. We're just marooned right now.
Ludacris was on there, and as well as my wife in the past life, Kristen Emilion. She played that angel character. And DMX and Method Man.
I remember DMX was on there.
Scarface was on there too. It's dope as fuck. Yeah.
Scarface.
Yeah, Dub C, Ghostface Killer.
Oh yeah, Ghostface.
Yeah, the Woo. And this soundtrack is really awesome too. Yo, Def Jam Vendetta was really legit. I remember like I didn't have a memory card, so I would go to my dad's house. I would I would use his address to go to school. Mm-hmm. I would go over there. I leave my game on the whole time, so I'm just burning electricity because they have a memory card, and I would just pause it and come back the next day and just play it again.
Oh, jeez, just leave it on overnight,
and I eventually beat it.
Drake announced. Was it Views from the Six? Is what it's called.
Views from the Six.
Not a Drake mark.
Not Drake mark.
Mm-mm. I like some of his singles, but I don't know.
Get into his music. He's a great artist.
Something about the gimmick that kind of turns me off.
What is wrong with Drake's gimmick? He's just like Cena.
Too sensitive?
Cena.
Yeah, Cena is pretty sensitive. I don't know. Cena seems kind of sensitive, but then at other times he seems like he's just like a troll that's 3 steps ahead of everybody.
Cena's very sensitive, Josh. He cares about what people think.
You saw what he mouthed in the ring at WrestleMania. He's like, I missed you guys so much.
Yeah.
I need to watch the video of him. Apparently he was on Conan last week teaching.
Yeah. John Cena sucks. That's pretty good. I watched it.
You did?
Yeah.
Did he explain that people just sing along John Cena sucks?
It really didn't start getting popular until like he went up to the UK. It was like remember every time he would go up to the UK used to do it.
I remember it was
UK. It was like recently, like last year. It just caught on last year.
No, I think it caught on. The first time I remember hearing it, I think, was...
UK used to always do it. The American didn't do it at first.
It was on the British tour before WrestleMania 30, because by the time we saw him at WrestleMania 30, we were doing that when he showed up.
I thought it caught on like...
It may have been right after WrestleMania.
Yeah, I think it was right after WrestleMania.
Okay.
It's been about a year. Year and some change. I went to go on 2.
Yeah.
It's been recently.
No, I mean, yeah, I know it's been definitely started since I started watching again, but I love it.
Yeah, it's coming. It reminds me of like the Kurt Angle "You Suck."
The suck respect chant.
It's become like wrestling lore.
I mentioned it a while back. I'm going to mention it again to you and to our listeners. We can put it on our Tumblr, but and I can put a Dat Piff download link on our Tumblr, just to help people get it. But the Matt Mania mixtape by Mega Ran. He's not only sampling entrance themes for his beats. The beat whatever he samples, like that's what the song is about. So like there's a Macho Man song about the career of the Macho Man.
That's dope as fuck.
And it's an awesome rap song. I mean, some of it's a little bit too like nostalgic for me. I'm not into nostalgia with rap. It's like, especially like, I mean, this doesn't do that, but anything that invokes like a bygone era of rap, I immediately reject that as inauthentic. I can't help it. That's why I don't really dig the whole pro era guys. Joey Badass and that. It just sounds too much like, you know, we want to bring real hip hop back, 90s hip hop, East Coast hip hop, and it's just like
Joey's dope as fuck though.
I'm not saying he's not talented.
Yeah,
I'm
just saying.
Yeah, I mean, I feel the same way about other genres of music, like all of that neo folk, post folk music, like the Mumford and Sons and Lumineers and all of that stuff. It pisses me off so fucking much because, and you know, you and I are both fans of what you call unorthodox flows, unorthodox structures. And, you know, I just call it weirdo, like, whatever. And it's like, I love weirdo shit. I love weirdo songs. I like songs that keep me guessing about the structure and the intent of the song the whole time.
Throws you off.
Yeah. I like something, I like watching or hearing, or reading something that I feel like is trying to lose me, trying to shake me off of its trail as I'm trying to understand it. And, you know, we both have that in common. So you know, the main reason I feel like you would appreciate this, the main reason I hate stuff like that is because we live in the year 2016.
Yeah.
We live in the fucking future. And especially with all of those, like, that train conductor rock music that people, like, everybody's dressed like hobos from the 1930s. Like, who in the fuck are you trying to impress? Your granddaddy? We live in the future, man. Why are you making this old man music? It's not cool. You sound like a fucking old man. There's nothing cool about old men unless you're David Bowie or Lou Reed or Keith Richards.
Or David Hasselhoff.
David Hasselhoff is not cool.
Just wait.
The coolest thing about David Hasselhoff, he didn't have anything to do with, and he's lucky. But the Knight Rider theme is the funkiest thing, the coolest thing that's ever happened as a result of David Hasselhoff.
Hugh Hefner's the coolest old man.
He's pretty cool. Yeah, Hugh Hefner's pretty baller.
Who else is pretty cool, old man?
It reminds me of something that happened on Twitter a couple of years ago where somebody was like, damn, Hugh Hefner, how do you get so many... He's like, how do you get so many bitches? I want to grow up and get bitches just like you. And Hugh Hefner responds like, well, first of all, it helps that I refer to them as young ladies.
Wow. Real pimping 101 right there.
Dude, yeah. Old pimps are pretty cool. Yeah, you're right about that. But, like... There's nothing cool about bow ties or, you know, banjos. It's the whole antiquated, and, you know, back to rap music, which the podcast is actually about. Yeah. Like, not all rap music needs to sound like the Wu-Tang Clan to be legitimate.
But it's just so hard. Like, everything, like Josh, like, it's basically like everything's already been invented. You know, everything has already been done.
Tell that to Danny Brown.
True. Yeah, but Danny... Yeah, true. But I don't know, man.
I mean,
Danny reminds me of, like... He reminds me of, like, Das EFX too,
though. It reminds me of... People have compared him to Pharoah Monk.
Yeah, you remember Pharoah Monk, Das EFX? He sounds like those guys.
ODB.
Yeah. So everything's always been...
But it doesn't sound like the past, and it doesn't sound nostalgic. And it's not about, like...
I think that what hurts Joey Badass, too. Because, like, his first off, he labeled himself like that. Maybe if he didn't label his first project as 1999, you know?
Where he's just, like, dating his own sound.
Like, dating his own sound. And, like, because his style isn't, like, his style has grown from up under that, too.
It's a very 21st century pop music notion that instead of finding anything new, we're all just exploring different parts of the 20th century for ourselves. But there's some rappers that genuinely sound like they're making contemporary music. I mean, even though like the lyricism See, like, even Flatbush, like, as weird as they are, it sounds like old 3-6 Mafia.
Flatbush just sounds like, it reminds me of, like, Woo.
That, too. You're saying, like, the evil and the weird, like, murky, like...
The highest, yeah, I can see what you're saying. Like, it reminds me of, like, Bone Thugs. Necessarily, I can see where you see the 3-6 Mafia influence at. Like,
well, I mean, my favorite 3-6 Mafia was, like, them talking about burying bodies and, like, all of that super Satanist stuff.
But, like, that's basically, like, you told me, you said you listened to, like, remember I told you about the genre called Trill Wave?
Uh-huh.
That's, like, 3-6. Like Memphis, like Xavier Wolf, Bones. Like, those guys, like, really dark, grimy, like, cloudy drug rap, you know? Mm-hmm. Like, that's been done with 3-6 and everything.
You're right.
It, like, especially with fashion and culture, it all rewinds. It all comes back around. It's about how, like, we innovated, because everything's already been invented. I don't know.
I mean, and, you know, back to wrestling, when they go back to, like, in wrestling, when they go back to the fundamentals, it's classic.
Bullet Club, for example.
Mm-hmm.
It's NWO.
Yeah, it's NWO. Absolutely. To the point where one of those guys actually looked like a bald Kevin Nash. Straight up. His face was Kevin Nash's face. It was fucking spooky. I dig it. Sammy and AJ was like fundamental classic match. AJ won, so we're going straight. AJ versus Roman Reigns for the WWE title at Payback. I can't believe that within 2 months, AJ Styles has a title match.
Something's telling me
with their, like, super face. Is he a super face?
He's not. What do you think? The first time talking about this, too. I think we talked about it last week, too, but, like, are they really running with that I'm not the good guy, bad guy? I'm
the tweener thing?
Yeah.
Well, JBL said something on the mic about how some people don't like him, which is the exact opposite of what they said last week.
That's what they used to say about Cena, too. He's basically, like he's becoming John Cena again.
Yeah, except more people dislike him than John Cena. Dude, every single time he got in the ring on Monday.
John Cena was really taken down
during the Punk period.
Yes, no, like not in the Punk period. Like when he, like that first, like when he like started to become Super Cena, like 2006 period. He was getting like JR wouldn't say that. Like, well, you can say what you want to say about this guy, but like he is that damn good, you know. I don't know, man.
Big match, John.
Yeah, but like I don't know. He's becoming like John Cena again. But the only thing about John Cena is that he would acknowledge that he was getting booed. Like Roman is too. Like
now, finally.
Yeah, but like John Cena would acknowledge like you guys don't have to like me. I'm gonna win because the champ is here. John Cena has like willpower. One thing about John Cena and Roman, like do we know what John Cena's gimmick is? He said it like an interview a couple weeks ago. He said like Roman, we still know who Roman is. He said, you know who I am. He said basically he says I'm basically Superman. I defy all odds. At least he knows, like, I'm always going to overcome it.
He had a little bit of different gimmick once they put the U.S. belt on him. You know, I mean, he was a bit of a gatekeeper then. It worked for him, man. I want him to come back just to become the U.S. champion again.
I don't know. If John Cena comes back, I think
we're going to put him back in the title picture?
Not necessarily, because, like, one thing about WWE, they want to protect that Ric Flair title reign. So it's going to be a while before John Cena gets a title match again. I think he's gonna be kind of like Shawn Michaels and just like help like in the second half of Shawn Michaels' career when he first got the title back, when he first came back in, like in 2002. But towards the end, he just started like putting people over.
Yeah, I think Cena wants to put that rub on people. It seems like. I mean, I don't see why not.
I don't know.
Highlight reel
was the Ambrose Asylum.
That was awesome. I hope we get a match from them at Payback. That would be a good match.
They've been teasing that for a while.
Have they? Yeah. I guess they did.
Remember with, when Chris Jericho was like
the interruption thing?
Yeah, and Chris Jericho was like the surprise partner for Roman Reigns and Dean, and they kind of bumped him at the end. Mm-hmm. So they've been teasing that for. They want to do that for a minute.
Dude, heel Jericho's amazing.
Heel Jericho is amazing.
He says the word idiot perfectly. He is like a virtuoso of the word idiot.
Yeah.
You idiot!
Yeah.
I love it, man.
What am I about to say?
Ambrose is great.
And it's kind of cool, like seeing them like take a more humorous like style
with Ambrose.
No, with that rivalry.
Oh yeah,
it's funny, not necessarily like being so like serious and brutal. Because like when you think about what Heel Jericho like so serious at all times. So it's kind of cool with Ambrose being kind of lighthearted.
He's so serious all times, but it's so funny the way he does it. Like, we'll start when you idiots stop booing. Like, what the fuck do you expect?
Is that the best Hollywood reel of all time?
I don't know. I haven't watched all of them.
I'm trying to be funny because, like he said, that's the best Harry.
Did he? Yeah, I guess he did.
He said it
because he was
interviewing himself. Interviewing himself.
That was so funny. Him interviewing himself. Apollo Crews and Adam Rose. Once again, Apollo Crews looks like a Superman. He looks amazing in on Raw. I'm way more impressed with him on Raw than I ever was in NXT. He's just it looked like there was nothing to develop for him in NXT. There were no storylines for him because there was no odds to overcome. Like they should obviously put him on the top, you know.
Apollo Crews is like reminds me of that guy that just smiles at like inappropriate times. Like somebody just like got hurt or like died. He just like he always has a smile, default smile on his face. And it fucking sucks. He always gonna make you laugh.
So the main event that we were teasing, and we were teased the whole time, was Bray Wyatt and Roman Reigns versus, was it? Yeah, it was Sheamus and Del Rio. And they looked pretty good as a tag team, to be fair.
It's kind of hard like seeing so like Bray and Roman always have like this like brutal like rivalry and like.
Oh, I think that was just another step along the rivalry.
Yeah, me too.
I think that they're going to have a rivalry that lasts their entire career.
Me too.
I'm for that. I think that they're going to be in a rivalry forever, just like Sammy and Kevin are going to be at it forever. One of those I am way more into than the other, because one of them involves Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn.
Yeah.
Punching each other in the head forever and ever and ever.
I thought it was kind of cool, like how like Bray pointed it out.
Oh, dude,
that was badass.
During that cover when he points.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was a good ending, man. That finish, that gift's all over the place, man.
Yeah.
I like Face Wyatt. You see how over he was?
I don't necessarily consider like Bray as face. He's like Taker to me. Like he's like.
I really think that JC and I have talked about this a lot. I think that we should adopt the Dungeons and Dragons alignment chart for wrestling. Instead of heel, face, and tweener, you have, people
you don't fucking trust.
You have chaotic neutral, chaotic evil, chaotic good, lawful evil, true neutral, true evil, true good. Like, I mean,
makes sense, especially for this era of wrestling.
Yeah, especially with like Bray Wyatt and Roman Reigns, where it's like they're not good guys or bad guys; they're just guys.
It's crazy.
Wrestling psychology has to figure out what it is in the 21st century because
it's like, what can, like, Josh, let me ask you a question. Like, how can that work with like everything being so leaked at every minute? Like information is leaked so like countlessly now.
Oh, no, it makes me want to be a casual. I wish I could just like turn it all off and not read it.
But then if you cut your phone off, you're not gonna be able to connect with the world.
Yeah. God damn it.
And then you become like a bitter old man, and you don't want to be like that.
That's true. And you turn into Ted Kaczynski out in the woods. Dude, overall, what an awesome episode of Monday Night Raw. SmackDown was pretty good. Dude, the main event from SmackDown was a tag team match. Jericho, Kevin Owens versus versus AJ Styles and Cesaro on a tag team. I mean, like, SmackDown was awesome. SmackDown's been awesome for months, though. Like, you could argue that they were testing some of their booking ideas on SmackDown before they moved them over to Raw. Mm-hmm. And Mauro Ranallo is amazing. He totally changes that show for the better.
So awesome.
Did you see the sick burn that that Byron got in on JBL this week?
Mm-mm.
Well, now there's a Byron face on Squared Circle because he got one little zinger in on JBL, and JBL couldn't come back. And dude, Byron looked so satisfied with himself when that happened. You should have seen it. I can put it on. I'll put it on the Tumblr. I mean, that does it though. That's an hour 4.
It's pretty good.
Hour-ish.
Perfect tune.
I'll have to cut out some of our bullshit.
Perfect 10.
Unedited bullshit. Perfect 10. Yeah, just like Ty Dillinger. I hate Ty Dillinger.
I you like Ty.
I've never liked Ty.
Really?
I mean, I guess I'm getting worked by him, but I don't know.
I thought one time you said you like this gimmick, like being perfect 10.
No, I don't. I don't like that gimmick at all. To me, it's like it comes too soon on the heels of Breeze.
Yeah.
And it's like, you're obviously not a perfect 10. Tyler Breeze is standing right over there. I am a huge Tyler Breeze mark, and I will always be a huge Tyler Breeze mark. I think he's got an incredible look. I think he's an incredible wrestler, and I don't care that his gimmick is dated. He believes it and lives it. He does not break kayfabe on Twitter. He's great. Did you see the thing about somebody asking him about his win-loss record? Insinuating that he was a jobber?
Yeah, I know. I've seen something to a certain extent. Like, he was talking about, like, would he go back to NXT? And he said something like, no, like, he's too busy cashing checks.
So he's like, yeah, somebody said something about his win-lose record. It's like, are you sad that you've lost 49 out of 50 matches in the WWE? He's like, I just got back from the bank.
Yeah.
I'm good.
It's badass.
I think it's badass, too. And it's perfect for his character. Like, why would he care about wins and losses? He's getting paid, and he's gorgeous. He's famous. That's all he cares about.
Tyler Breeze is the man.
Yeah, he really is.
And he gets to hang out with Sasha. He's cool with Sasha, so I'm very jealous of him. Hey, Sasha.
So, yeah, check us out on Tumblr, Twitter. RW Connection on Twitter, Rap Wrestling Connection on Tumblr, rappandwrestling.tumblr.com.
Yeah.
We're on SoundCloud.
Catch us all.
Just collect it all. Oh, also subreddit. We have a subreddit now.
Yeah, I followed it.
R Rap and Wrestling. So you can find us out there, guys. As soon as we're on iTunes, we'll let you know. As soon as we have a website, you will go to it and you will love it. We'll sell you things and you will give us all of your money. Until next week, that is the perfect 10 episode of the Rap and Wrestling Connection.
Woo! Woo!
Saturday night, the biggest takeover special yet takes place in Brooklyn, New York. You know what? Before I go on, I have to address that. Do you know how disgusting that is, by the way? What you just did right now. No. Are you too stupid to realize how hypocritical you are all being? Because week in and week out, I'll come out here and you guys will chant Kevin Owens or fight Owens fight. Unless I'm laying a finger on, say, Sami Zayn. Yeah. Then you'll boo. Or if someone even mentions the name John Cena, you boo. But if I talk about beating John Cena, you cheer, which is really ironic because you guys know what you are. You are the John Cena of wrestling fans. Yeah, you think that's funny? I think it's pathetic because nothing genuine comes out of your mouth ever. That's why you all claim to love NXT. You all claim to want everybody in NXT to succeed. But when we talk about NXT selling out a 13,000-seat arena, which, by the way, only sold out because I'm in the main event, you boo. You boo. You want NXT to grow. But then you boo because it's not yours anymore because you're not going to get to see it live. And that's exactly why every time I have to come to Full Sail, I feel sick to my damn stomach. Because I know I'm performing for a bunch of ungrateful,